Greetings, friends. Randall Angie here, and welcome out to another Total Pythoneering Programming Short for Professionals, reminding you that none of us are born knowing anything about programming, let alone modern Python, and that a big shot is simply a little shot that keeps on shooting. Today, we're aiming at the idea of exceptions. Now, don't get me wrong, like most of you, I do indeed love exceptions, but when all we're trying to do is return whether something succeeded or failed, the idea of creating a class and then raising an instance of the class seems a little awkward and certainly a little more involved than we probably want to do when we're trying to get a deadline out the door. I mean, raising and throwing an exception also executes a lot of code that we really don't have to execute, not only in the creating of the exception and the raising of the exception, but as we see here, of course, in the management of the exception. So there's three ways we can use those exceptions. We can simply fail and not catch anything. And of course, we can do our try and catch gamut, which I cover in my training pretty well. And while we are free to break everything out so that we have each type of exception caught, the classes we define do indeed have to inherit from one of the pre-existing framework exception classes, and all we have to do is raise that exception class or catch that exception class to simply once again return the fact that something didn't go well and the description of why it didn't go well. But in Python, I don't think we need to be using exceptions so much, simply because we can return a tuple and without creating any extra classes or doing much more than simply returning the fact that something didn't work and we simply want to tell you what didn't work. All we have to do is return our tuple, in this case by either saying true or false, and then either giving our success or failure message. Easy enough on the sending side, but on the receiving side, all we'd have to do, therefore, is know that we're going to be returning a tuple. And with modern notations in Python, that's very easy to do. And we can even specify the type of values we're going to be returning in that tuple. But here again, once we know that we have a tuple or a tuple, all we have to do is check for the success or failure of the operation. And once we know it's either true or false, we can choose if we wanted to use or not use that string returned from our function. Come to that, we could even use an integer code plagiarizing much from the HTTP status code 200, 400, 501, or 451 to better inform us what we need to do next. Much easier and much more succinct, and certainly easier to encode in Python if you're interested in making things as fast and as efficient as possible. When it comes to managing things going bump in our functions, exceptions, take a look at the abstract requirement of simply returning true or false, and why things are true or false, cut out the middleman, and make things a lot more efficient and certainly a lot easier to encode. If you'd like to learn more and hone your professional programming skills for Python, feel free to take a look at the free and open PyQuest project over on GitHub. And if you're interested in in-depth discussion as well as source codes to demonstrate each and every one of the first 100 beginner, intermediate, and advanced concepts, feel free to take a look at the book on Amazon. Thanks for watching, and please, if you like the video, do not like it and do not subscribe to this channel. You're only going to encourage me because I got bills to pay, and this doesn't pay very well. And to tell you the truth, I have a lot better things to do than to be inspired enough to start creating more videos for you.